Hey everybody, Dave here, and I want to send you a quick video message highlighting three important things to move forward with for the remainder of the quarter. The first one is with regards to the activity and comment section of each of the logs. Now, that log has a variety of things that need to be completed. First, when you go into the log at the beginning of the week, be sure to set a weekly goal, something that you can shoot for. And within that goal, be a little bit more specific than just say, I want to eat better, um, or or something like I want to work legs. Define that just a little bit. I mean, you have a small space, but you can still say, um, I want to perform squats more regularly, maybe twice a week, or instead of eating better, I want to eat more vegetables each night. I want to have at least one vegetable on my plate every single night. Something like that, that clearly defines something, because just saying I want to be more healthy is really indescriptive. So I need to know a little bit more in those with those goals. So the next thing is when we're looking at those logs is the credits. I'd like to see how many credits you're taking this quarter, 1 or 2 credits for this PE 108 class, because then in my mind it's a quick calculation for how many minutes you're completing for the week. And otherwise, I have to look at the instructor briefcase, and if I have 47 students, it's a lot of going back and forth between windows on my computer. So I really appreciate if everybody could do that as well. And also the sleep and sedentary columns, it would be wonderful if everyone did complete that, but it is not a necessary part. You don't get downgraded for not completing it, but I really do think health-wise, both of those are really important to begin tracking. Um, and last but definitely not least, the activity and comments section is for post-exercise comments and/or discussions. I do have your fitness plans. Periodically, I'll go in there and I'll open those up just to make sure that you're still in line. I probably open up those during most of my grading. I'm just reviewing what you're supposed to be doing and seeing if that's consistent with what you're actually doing. So since that's already there in place, I don't need to necessarily see all of the exercises you're doing. Just tell me about that exercise experience, how it's going for you, whether or not it's positive or negative, and then that will tell me subjectively how things are progressing for you. So that is the discussion around goals I'm sorry, the discussion around the activity logs. The next thing is goals. We're getting to the point of the quarter where we need to start thinking long term, start thinking beyond PE 108 and maybe into fall. Fall, winter, spring, I'm sorry, fall and winter tend to be times when exercise seems to wean off of or starts to kind of go away. We start to forget that summer is going to be just a few months away. And also we need to continue the emphasis of health. The majority of heart attacks actually happen in the winter months. So we want to make sure that we're not ceasing exercise, that we are continuing the trend that we are setting for ourselves. And I got to be honest, I actually probably exercise more during the winter months when it's a little bit cooler. This stuff out here is just straight up miserable unless it's like 6 in the morning when I'm out there running. So yeah, begin thinking about what your goals are. And a lot of people, this week we have a discussion on motivation, and goal setting can be a huge contributor to overall motivation. And oftentimes when I set goals, I have to set goals beyond those goals. And so I have a lecture in my class. It's called Goals Beyond Goals. Because I want you to always be thinking, 1, 2, 3 years down the road, like what do you want to achieve? For example, I watched my wife do an Ironman this past week, and totally inspired me to think that in 2020 I want to go do the same Ironman. Now in 2020, that's a long way away. For some of you, you're thinking, "Holy cow, that's an eternity." But for me, that's that's just right around the corner. So why 2020? Well, it's going to take me some time to have enough money to be able to buy a triathlon bike. They're $3,000 to $5,000 for the one that I would like. And it's going to take me a year to build that up and purchase the bike and purchase everything that comes with it. And then I got to train, and I got to do some half Ironmans and some Olympics and some things to kind of prepare myself for an actual Ironman. I can't just jump into it with a 10 speed. So it takes a little while, and thankfully I'm healthy and able-bodied, and I'm able to do these things. And for the most part, I think most of us are as well. It's just a matter of exposure and being around these things that provide that level of motivation. So what motivates you? What makes you live vicariously through yourself? And what wakes you up every single day to keep you going, keep you thriving? And there's more than just the clocking in, clocking out 9 to 5. Once you have your gig, once you have your job, what's left? You got to start thinking about, longevity. Looking at it this way, my kids will be out of the house or at least graduate high school in 6 years. To me, that's just right around the corner. So, what are my wife and I doing to create a healthy environment for our relationship and for ourselves, so that, we're not just going to be sedentary and happy watching cable television, but instead we're going to be outdoor, thriving, being healthy, etc. So we're really go-getters when it comes to setting goals. And in fact, on this note, as you become more and more fit, you're going to want to do things to kind of assess and evaluate your own fitness level. I mean, comparatively speaking, against other people as well, and kind of where you fit, and as far as a measure of where you fit in society, health-wise. And what I'm getting at is this morning, I saw in the newspaper, I still get the newspaper, that there is I think on August 19th, there's a mud run of some kind in Washougal. And so you just have to Google that, Washougal Mud Run 2017, August 19th, and see what you come up with. And I know it's a big event out there, but the name is escaping me. I hear that's a huge one. I hear that's a lot of fun, and I've seen a lot of pictures on my Facebook page come through during that weekend. So I know those things are a lot of fun, but there's also other things like bubble runs, color runs, 5K run, Shamrock run. All these are little 5Ks, and not to minimize 5K, but they're little 5Ks. And I call them cute. So yeah, or you could think bigger, like in a year from now or 2 years from now, could you do a half marathon? And I can tell you right now, you can do a half marathon. If you choose to do it and you want to get after it, there's plenty of training plans online. I'm happy to review them if you get them. Sit on my way and I'll look at them. But in any case, what are your goals? And oftentimes I often tell my students that goals, have to have, carrots, or, you got to have carrots dangling in front of you. And I think of it as like a carrot tree. Like I have to have all these goals kind of hanging in front of me so that when I'm not feeling so motivated, I can think about what my goals are, and that gets me out the door. So it gets me to move. And so I've got to have a lot of things to just get me going. And so I have many personal goals. I've got teaching goals. I've got a lot of things that just keep me going. And quite frankly, that's how I chose this profession, is I wanted to be on my feet a lot. And so we've had the discussion around activities, comments, and the activity logs. The discussion around goals, and then also the last but not least are shoes. We had one of your peers had brought up shin splints. And more often than not, shin splints are caused by the too much too soon type of thinking, as far as they're just doing too much for what their body can handle right now. So when it comes to shin splints, the first and foremost, I oftentimes tell students that injuries start from the ground up, and they kind of work their way up the body. So they'll start typically in the ankles or the shins, and then they'll just kind of trickle up to your knees and maybe your hips and your back. And rarely do injuries, especially in impact activities like running. Running is a very impactful activity. And if you're out there in shoes that are old, more than 3 months old, or have a lot of miles on them, or if you're running a lot on asphalt and sidewalks, then that is going to create a jarring effect on your spine, and starts at your ankles and it goes up to your shins, etc. So if your muscles aren't used to that, or you carry a lot of body weight, so you have that stress as well, then it can be really, it could be a real stinker, to be honest with you, because you want to be out there exercising, so it's going to drive you bonkers. But there are a lot of things that can help you with shin splints, a lot of things that can keep you going and keep you healthy. But the idea is not to do too much too soon. Start with, potentially looking at your shoes. Are they too old? And if so, you can get a little assessment at like Fleet Feet, which is, there's one here in Vancouver on 164th and Mill Plain. Or you can go to like Portland Running Company, and they'll do what's called a gait analysis, and they can also look at your shoes. You want to wear the shoes you've always worn, or worn a lot, and take those shoes in there, because they can look at the bottom of those shoes and kind of see how you wear them. They can look at your foot strike. They can maybe even put you on a treadmill and record your feet and kind of describe what's going on with your feet and what kind of shoes would help with any shoe ailments you might be having. But at the same time, if you're not having any ailments, then don't change shoes. If it's not broke, don't fix it. I will make one suggestion. If you are going to get a new pair of shoes, then if they try to sell you inserts, then get different shoes. You don't need the inserts. Generally speaking, what you need is a different pair of shoes. So if you're getting a pair of Nikes and because you've always got Nikes, or because they match your outfit, or because they're cute, but you have shin splints, then maybe look at getting an actual pair of running shoes like Brooks or Saucony or something like that, or Mizuno's. Those are those brands, Brooks and Saucony and Mizuno's, are walking and running type of shoes, but walking shoes are generally going to be the same thing as running shoes, just they're sold as walking shoes. So in any case, yeah, a lot here, and I hope I'm answering some questions, or at least providing some thought and some thinking into your activity logs, your goals, and now your shoes. So if you guys have any questions, we're 11 minutes in. I think that's more than sufficient, and I will look forward to sending you another message next week. By the way, all of our grading is up to date. I'm looking at right now the 5.1 discussion on motivation. Those should be trickling in by tomorrow night, your initial posts, and then reply posts are due as always on Saturday. So if you guys have any questions between now and well, whenever, feel free to always shoot me a message. And yeah, look forward to correspondence. Take care.